things that exist are contingent.
Sorry, can you rephrase that? Why do I think?
Why do you believe that everything that comes to exist is contingent?
You said everything that comes. I mean, even if something has always existed, it can still be contingent if it's fundamentally limited in its properties. Because of that modal feature that I mentioned, you can ask that question.
In all properties, though, like does that mean that if my wagon was all red, that it was was an exception to the rule?
If your wagon was all red, it's an exception. I don't.
Right, because it would be a maximal. It would be a maximized property of it. The redness of it. It's all red. There's no part of it that's not red. So does that mean that it would be there would be an exception to the argument for it?
No, because I mean, even if it was, and I think we're done, but even if it was unlimited in that regard, it's limited in other ways. So
right, but that's what I'm saying. Is it has to be unlimited in every aspect, or just in certain aspects that are appealing?
In every aspect that's fundamental.
All right.
Can I do a quick closing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say that, appeals to infinite regresses and multiverse and appeals to futurism, I think are totally unsubstantiated. And the evidence that we see right now points to the universe being an emergent feature of mind, and studies in quantum cognition show that the properties that it emerges from correlates to what we consider mind. So I would say the physics right now is pointing towards a theistic model, and that infinite multiverses and infinite regresses are pure speculation and appeals to futurism.
All right. Anybody else want to say anything before we move to the Q&A? All right. Here we go. Praise, thank you for taking down the questions for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and answer those now, and really appreciate the super chats. Those are very helpful. Let's see here. All right.
I am putting the
fight the flat Earth's evidence for air around a object in a vacuum is erroneous, because he's invoking electromagnetism to prove that gravity can do what electromagnetism can do. Electromagnetism is 10 to the power of 36 times more powerful than gravity. I think that's quite preposterous to say that gravity can do anything that electromagnetism can do when you have such an enormous, unimaginably large proportion of difference between the strength of gravity and electromagnetism. It's literally like proving that an infant can lift up an 18-wheeler truck because a forklift can. It's just I just don't see how we can logically conclude that atmosphere can do that in a vacuum just because electromagnetism can. I think I'm just going to shift it right to T-Jump, and if he's got any evidence, because this is what I want to get into. I want to get into evidence. I already know T-Jump is going to probably want to get into epistemology. I really am not even really concerned with epistemology. I want evidence. I want him to actually present actual evidence for his claims that he believes that water is sticking to the spinning, flying, gyrating, tilting, wobbling, soaring, shooting ball Earth, which is flying millions of miles an hour through space. And none of it flies off, none of it goes off, none of it goes anywhere. You have all these contradictory forces and motions that are going on that... I mean, do you have any evidence for anything that this is real, like water on the wall Earth, or gas in a vacuum?
Sure, we can. That one's pretty simple. Like, you grant that when we take a plane up into the air and we just drop it straight down, we can get like an anti-gravity kind of an effect, right? We can just float and it looks like we're in space. So when we drop water in that anti-gravity space while falling out of a plane, well, it clumps together in a ball, just like it does on the Earth. That's how it fits.
Right, but that's not with gravity, though.
It works the exact same way. I can just demonstrate it just by that one example. So if we're in an area that appears to work like a vacuum, and we just fall, and we like squirt some water out, guess what shape it goes into? Oh God! And the twisting and all of the vibrating and the falling and water in the middle of the fall.
So you're presupposing that because water can do this in an airplane, that that's what's happening with the water on the Earth, that gravity is strong enough to hold thousands of quadrillions of tons of water on it while it's spinning and flying and accelerating through the universe at these preposterously ridiculous speeds that nobody can even imagine how fast we're moving right now. Meanwhile, nobody feels anything moving. Just presuppose that the Earth is round, and then you're using this water forming a sphere which really has nothing to do with gravity, and then using that to prove that that can happen on a planet.
Right, yeah, so we know the world's round because we've actually been to space. We can see it. You can just rent a balloon and just tie a camera to it and just let it go up into the atmosphere, and you can see the curve yourself. Like in the next 50, 20
Really?
years.
Wow, that's
Yes, you
that's
can. Yes, you can.
interesting.
So in the next
That's-
20 years, you can actually buy a
Now,
plane
let's touch
ticket.
on that.
Wait. So in the next 20 years, you can buy a plane ticket to actually go to space and see it for yourself. In any
Wow.
direction you go in, you will never find an edge. You could buy a plane yourself and just fly, and you'll never
Right,
find.
but that
an
doesn't
edge.
mean that the Earth is not flat. Now, let me touch on that for a
Yes, it
second. So
does.
first of all, Neil deGrasse Tyson says himself that
I
you
don't
can't
care
see the
why
curve
are
of the
you
Earth
bringing
at
up
that
Neil deGrasse
altitude.
Tyson?
Okay,
What's
so the
wrong with
world, so
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
you're smarter than the world's leading astrophysicist. You're telling me knowledge that the world's leading astrophysicist would disagree with you on.
No, he would agree with me on that, but I'm not.
No, but he
interested-
said
I'm
something
not
that
Neil
is
deGrasse
completely
Tyson.
opposite to what you said.
I can't defend Neil deGrasse Tyson's position here. I'm here to.
No, but
defend my
that's what the
position.
world's leading
I don't care
astrophysicist
what
on the
Neil
face of the
deGrasse
Earth has
Tyson
said.
says. He agrees with me. So
Well, I do
bringing
care what
him
he
up
says. I'm
doesn't-
sorry.
Doesn't help.
Because he's affecting millions of people's lives. He's
I don't.
literally
Why, if you
changing
want to
the
debate Neil deGrasse
consciousness
Tyson,
and the
One
way
sec.
that people
Neil
think
deGrasse
about
Tyson.
every single
One
person
sec.
on Earth listens to
One
it. So
sec.
I do care what he says.
That's great.
Gentlemen,
I'm not him.
Gentlemen,
so-
hold on a second. Okay, I promise we'll get Neil deGrasse Tyson on for the next debate. Well, one sec. We'll give you a chance to make your case, Wotan, and then we'll give Tom his chance as well. If we have to do the 2-minute and 2-minute switcheroo like we did.
I mean, I said that I wanted to touch on what he said.
Okay,
Right.
the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. So Neil deGrasse Tyson. I mean, I got into this debate also with the 80s experience, and they were like flabbergasted. They were like left like stunned in like shock. Like you should see the look on their face when I called into the 80s experience and told them the exact same thing. They were like, "Oh, well, I see the curve when I go out in an airplane. You can see the curve." And I'm like, "Oh, well, yeah, that's interesting." Since Neil deGrasse Tyson says you absolutely cannot. It's impossible to see the curve of the Earth in an airplane, and he also says it's impossible at 128,000 feet. You cannot see the curve of the Earth at that altitude. You just can't. It's just too large. You understand? So if you're going to tell me that you could see the curve of the Earth at that altitude, you're either Neil deGrasse Tyson is wrong, or the Earth is far smaller than what Neil deGrasse Tyson knows it to be, what every single astrophysicist on the Earth knows it to be. And you look up videos online right now, 128,000 feet up in the air. There is absolutely no curve whatsoever. The horizon is flat and at eye level. Okay, at all times. It doesn't matter if you're on a ball. It doesn't matter what shape it is. If you go up, the horizon is going to drop down. Period. End of story. The fact that it does not drop down is evidence that the Earth is flat. Now, again, you have evidence that water can adhere to the exterior of a shape by virtue of gravity alone.
Yes,
You
we
have a
can literally
scientific
see it
experiment to
happening.
prove that.
We can literally see it happening. Just like go into a plane, fall, squeeze the water out, and boom, done. So
Right, but that doesn't mean that water is. That's just ridiculous. That's not a scientific experiment that concludes the fact that water is
so
on the Earth.
literally, we can put some like mud there. We can drop the mud first, and then squirt the water, and the water will stick to the mud.
Okay, how about this? How about this? Let's say you were trying to prove, like scientifically, right? You were trying to come up with a scientific experiment to absolutely conclusively prove that water is around the Earth, right? And the Earth is flying millions of miles an hour through space. And in order for you to prove this with a scientific experiment, is you say, "Oh well, raindrops."
Raindrops.
But
No.
raindrops is the same thing. It's the same exact effect as why it forms a sphere. It's the same exact effect as why.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're even saying. We know how gravity works. Gravity causes objects with mass to pull
No, but
together, so
no,
if we
but
have
you're
mass
trying to
pull
tell me
together-
that a scientist that your claim that water falling in an airplane in those zero-G planes, it forming a sphere, is evidence that water can adhere, not just form a sphere, it's adhering to the Earth because the Earth is moving, mind you. Okay.
Right, so that's
moving
easily
millions of miles
possible
an
that
hour in
water
space.
can form a ball in a moving, tumultuous area and still rain in a ball. That's
Tumultuous. It's not tumultuous. The water in the when they do those experiments, it's in a container. First of all,
correct.
right?
So space is like an empty thing. There's no thing there. So anything moving in space is like in a container because there's nothing there.
Oh, it's like an
hit
so
it.
so empty. So now emptiness is a container now too.
Yes, that's correct. It is a container.
This is ridiculous. This is what the globe has got to resort to. They got to say that emptiness
That's
is a
pretty
container
obvious.
now.
I mean, yeah.
Wow,
So
that's cool.
if there's no friction, then
Wow.
that's like there's a container protecting it from the friction.
So,
Like if
so
you're in
nothing is a
car-
container. So
no,
I
no,
can
no,
so I
this
can
is-
pour
this
I
is
can
pretty
pour a
easy.
glass
This-
into air.
No. This
And
is pretty simple.
I don't need a glass anymore. Why do I need
Well,
to
this is
drink out
pretty
of a glass?
simple.
I can
This is
just pour
pretty
glass
simple.
into an
Let me
air.
go through
Into
the
air.
argument. Stop interrupting. So, like, if you have a container like a car, and you don't feel anything inside of the car when you're moving, it would be the same thing as if you were moving and there was nothing outside of you. Then you also would not feel anything. So the fact that there is a container that protects you from any outside forces like that. If there was no air, then the car would be protected. You still wouldn't feel it. So no air would cause no friction and the
Well,
protect.
no one's saying that I wouldn't feel it.
One second.
That's the
I
point.
do want to
That's why
ask.
you could have a ball of water falling through nothing and it would stay together. You have a ball of water falling through a container and it would stay together. Because a shell protecting you from the wind and no wind has the same effect.
One sec, Tom. Just to be sure we can hear you, is that your volume is a little bit lower. Either if Tom, if you can turn your gain up a little bit, or it could be
Mine's-
Wotan. Wotan, if you're able to turn your gain down just a little bit on your mic in case that might be it. But there is like a difference in volume discrepancy. There's a little volume discrepancy. By the way, Tom Jump's dad is in the live chat right now. Steve McCrae, good to see ya. If you haven't heard, folks, the word on the streets is it sounds like Steve McCrae will be kind of like Barbossa in the Pirates of the Caribbean, where he finally took the helm back. He was at the helm of the Black Pearl again. Well, Steve McCrae will be at the helm of the Non Sequitur show soon. That's in the works. So it's just a matter of time. We're excited for that. We will hopefully do a collab to kind of help them resurrect it to get their debates going on there again. That'll be a lot of fun. There have been a lot of great debates on there. And so, yes, go ahead, guys. Pardon my interruption.
So Steve McCrae is actually your dad?
No, James makes up chronologies all the time. Makes up genealogies, makes up
Oh,
genealogies.
man.
So,
Okay.
again, we can
Nah, I
literally
can't tell
see
if that
the
was a
world-
troll or not.
It was. I've just
I'm just
made it up.
curious.
I made it up. It's
Oh,
a-
okay. I was actually curious. I was like, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, don't listen to anything James says. Most of it's not all crap. All of it's crap. So, so again, we can literally see the world is round. And you asked for like testable predictions that could show the world is round. We can literally just go to space and turn around and see it.
Okay, so that's okay. Let's get into my we'll get into my images now. So that's where I'm going to show you how the images of Earth are fake.
I don't care. Like,
Can I share? Can I
we don't
share
need the
screen?
images.
Oh,
we have
you don't care. Oh, you don't care about
can-
images
you
being
can
fake.
literally
Okay, well I
just
do. I'm sorry, I do.
Remember,
I don't know about you,
asked
but I
for
actually
testable
care about
predictions,
when
remember?
NASA lies. I care when NASA
no,
lies
no.
and NASA's
Remember,
telling
stop,
us
stop,
lies. I
stop.
care about that. I don't know if you don't
Stop.
care about that,
I
but
don't
I do.
care what
Let's
NASA
do-
says.
we'll-
NASA
Oh,
doesn't
you don't
know.
care? Well, then I don't want to
So-
talk with somebody who
okay,
doesn't care about
neither do
NASA
I.
lying
I
to
don't
us.
care.
Wotan,
I don't
we'll,
care.
we'll,
It's
let's
not
just give
evident.
Tom a chance
So-
to respond. We'll come right back to you. We promise you.
You asked
He's just
for
gonna say he
test-
doesn't care.
No.
Wait, that's not it. We'll give him a
You have
little
to
bit.
stop. So you asked for evidence. Evidence is testable predictions. Testable predictions isn't pictures. My testable predictions is you can buy a plane or rent a ticket in the next year. You go to space yourself and
In
turn
20
around
years.
and see it.
Hold on.
Like, be an astronaut. You go to space. Anybody can potentially do this and see it within the realm. I don't care
Okay,
what
so
the
first,
NASA. This is a testable prediction.
okay, you literally said before that
Well, hold on one
you
second.
literally
wanna be
just
sure
said
that-
he's
just
done.
wanna
He's
be-
at the download public sentence. He's done, man.
Okay,
He's
I
done.
just wanted to be sure. Okay, go ahead,
Done.
Wotan.
You could tell in the tonality of his voice is going down.
All right,
downhill. It's
I
going
know you've been aggressive though. Okay, go ahead, Wotan. We're
Okay.
good.
So you literally just, you could rewind this tape right now. You literally just said that we can go back, we can turn around and see the Earth. So that would you tell that you're using this footage of satellites in space being able to turn around and look at the Earth as evidence of the Earth being round. And I'm telling you, I'm going to show you that those are fake.
No.
And now you're saying, oh well, that doesn't
never
matter.
said anything
Well, that's
about
kind of contradictory, isn't it?
There was nothing in my argument that I never mentioned pictures at all. I said I made a testable prediction that we could go to space, turn around and see it. Where did I mention pictures? Where are the pictures?
But I mean, I'm sorry if I confused what you said, but it sounded like what you said was that we can like currently now have, you know, you were trying to like infer that we can currently at this day turn around and look at the Earth and see that it's round.
Yeah,
Am I
that's
mistaken
what
about what you said?
Do you understand what a testable prediction is? Like
Yes.
a prediction is saying that here's something we can do now, we can do it, and then it'll happen in the future, and then it'll have some result. So I didn't say anything about pictures. We can literally get in a spaceship, go to space, turn around.
So you're inferring to the
see
future.
world. Yes.
You're inferring to the
That's-
future. You have
that's
no
what-
evidence right
that's-
now.
that's
Yo,
what
are you
prediction
literally
means.
trying to? Excuse me. Are you literally trying to tell me that in 20
Wotan,
years
I
you're gonna
do
be
have
able
to
to
be
prove it?
sure.
You can't prove it now.
Wotan, just to be sure that we get to hear each one.
How dishonest are you being right now?
No. Again, so prediction. You said you know what a prediction is. You predict the pre part, the PRE. That means we have to do it before, so we have to return to the future. It's kind of what prediction means. So we have to make a prediction and confirm the prediction. And that's how evidence works.
So you're a
Evidence is to
gypsy now. You're a
confirm-
scientific gypsy. You're predicting the
What?
future.
That's. What do you again? So you said you know what a prediction is. Could you?
You should name
tell me
yourself
what
T.
you-
Gypsy.
what you think a
It should be T.
prediction is?
Gypsy.
Like,
Sick as gypsy.
how do you think science works? Like, so.
Not gypsy magic. I'm sorry. I live in the current world, the current day. I want evidence right now, this second now. I don't want
So-
you to tell me that yeah, in 20 years we'll be able to. No, it's bullshit. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
we've done
bullshit.
it. If we've already
I don't want to
confirmed
hear
it, like,
none of
many
this shit.
times,
Oh,
we
in
can go
20
and see it,
years we're gonna
anybody
be able
can
to
see
prove it.
it,
No,
anybody can go
now,
buy a
now.
balloon.
I
We
want
have all
you
that.
One sec,
now,
one sec.
right now, to prove that the Earth is round. Not 20 years from now.
Yeah, so we've literally gone to space. We have things on the moon that we've placed there
Okay,
that you
exactly.
can
So
verify,
exactly. So you're using again. Excuse me. You're using the NASA, which I'm telling you. I'm going to show you that
I
they're
didn't
fake.
say anything about
You're,
NASA.
you're
When did I
invoking. Who
mention
went to the
NASA?
moon then? Who went to the moon? You just
when did I
invoked
mention
NASA.
I didn't mention anything about NASA. So
You said
so
the moon.
we
You
can-
said we went to the moon.
no, they placed a
sec.
refractor on the moon, and we can literally test it. by
You said
pointing a
we
laser.
One sec.
went to the moon.
One sec,
Great.
Wotan.
Yes, we did. I don't care.
Okay, so you're invoking NASA. Who else
No,
went to the moon?
I
Nobody
didn't say
except
anything
us.
about
Okay,
NASA. So
okay.
again, slow down. Listen
But
to the
nobody
argument
else went to the
carefully.
moon except us.
Wotan.
I don't care about NASA. I didn't say anything about NASA. So
But
don't blame
nobody
NASA.
went to the moon.
Alright.
If you're
Doesn't
saying
make a
that
difference.
we
Hold on
went to
one
the moon,
second. Wotan,
Let's
forgive me.
listen to the
Wotan,
argument,
I'm
Wotan.
so
Shut up,
sorry.
Wotan.
Wotan, I just want to, forgive me for muting you. I just want to give Tom a chance to, we'll give him like a minute, and I promise we'll come back to you for another 60 seconds of your own. Okay,
So
here we
we
go.
know we've gone to the moon because they placed a refractor up there, and we can point a laser at it. Anybody can get a powerful enough laser, point it at the refractor, and the refractor will reflect the light back at us. So we can literally test that there has been someone on the moon. I don't care if it was NASA. It makes no difference to my argument who was there. Could have been the space lizards or whatever the flat earthers believe, but we know we've been to the moon, and we placed a refractor in it. We can test and see. Yeah.
what does a refractor on the moon have anything to do with it here?
We've been to space. We can go to space and see it.
Again, you're invoking NASA, which is the space agency,
didn't say
which is the
NASA.
world's leading
No,
#1
not say
space administration on
not
Earth.
how
So
arguments
again,
work.
you're invoking NASA, and I would like to share my screen
don't
and
care.
show you that NASA's proof is
I
not
never said
admissible
NASA.
as evidence because I can literally prove
So,
right now that there
I
is
think,
a
well,
Never said
Wotan,
James, I want to present my screen. I don't
Wotan.
care what he says. I want to present my screen. How
we'll,
about that?
all
I
right,
wanna show the audience.
we'll give you your 60 seconds. So yes, if you want to share your screen, we'll go ahead and we'll
Because I
put
want to show you.
pictures.
I don't care that he doesn't care about the truth. I care about the truth, and I want to show the audience that NASA is not credible as a source of information. They are bullshit. They're a bunch of liars, like they've always been. Just another government administration, and they're all liars. Okay, I'm gonna show you right now.
Okay.
Am I sharing?
Yep, I've got it. Let's see. I'm just gonna squeeze in the picture just a little bit. We usually set it to be a little bit larger than it actually is. Almost there. Give me a sec. Okay, I've got these gentleman with a cowboy hat on.
The cowboy? Okay. This image may look real to anybody who first sees this image, but it's completely another thing. He says it here. This image was actually used as a Kenwood from a Kenwood radio show. Apparently, Kenwood sells walkie-talkies and such, and they use this completely edited Photoshop image to promote and advertise their radio, the walkie-talkies. So this guy, he basically analyzes this photo, and he says that the hat is fake, the arm is fake. I can show you that the arm is fake. You see here, like the sharp lines. This is obviously photoshopped. This sharp line here, this sharp line here. His arm, this arm isn't even his arm. Okay, the radio is put in there. The arm is fake. His face is photoshopped on it. His hat is photoshopped on his head. The background is fake. Everything is fake about this. And also, you see this spot right here? This is also fake. He actually says down here that this might have been a mistake on his part. He probably put a color picker on this guy's face and had the brush tool and accidentally clicked here and left it there and forgot to remove it. And you can see here with the ELA signature, ELA is error level analysis. And this actually happened. Steve McRae's in the chat. So how you doing, Steve McRae? Remember the error and level analysis thing that we were talking about, that we debated with your photographic expert? Well, it goes to show you, I got some evidence to prove that all your images of NASA, of Earth, are completely fake, because I did a little more research into it. And that one image that we showed on your screen that happened to have excuse me, I'm showing, you're not talking, you don't care about this, so be quiet.
Right, it's a cowboy picture.
Okay, no, but you don't care about this, so be quiet. You don't care about this, so be quiet.
Let's just,
okay, now be quiet.
let's just give him another like 30 seconds.
Okay, mute. Okay, this is fake. This here is fake. You see the difference in contrast of the ELA signature. This is how you know that this is fake. If the background doesn't resemble anything whatsoever, the face is fake, the shirt is fake, the arm is fake. That spot right here, you can see that that's fake. Okay, the difference in contrast in the ELA signature shows you that it's fake. And I'm going to show you with a real image. This is a real image, okay? Of just, I googled Adirondack Mountains, and this is one of the first images that came up. And look how consistent the ELA signature is. You can see how consistent everything is in respect to everything else. You understand? All these pixels, they're all the same because this is a real image.
Gotcha.
But, oops, now we got this one. Excuse me, now we got this one. I mean, this is actually a real image. I mean, if there's anybody in the world who looks at this image initially and says that this is real, you literally don't even have a brain inside of your head. This is the fakest thing that I have ever seen in my entire life. I don't care what you say. I don't care what, appeal to, whatever. This is absolutely fake. I play video games way too much, okay? I know CGI when I see it. This is fake, okay? And you can prove that it's fake with the ELA signature, okay? You see how different this is. You see how gray and dull this is, okay? And then, oops, you see the contrast of the Earth, which means that, which points to the fact that this is fake. This is Photoshop bullshit fake, okay? This is fake. You see how fake this moon is. You see the difference in contrast of the ELA signature in comparison to this. So that means that this is fake. This is fake. The same exact thing. What's all this shit back here? What is this garbage? This is all fake. Fake garbage. Fake NASA. If you ever cite NASA as a credible source, you automatically lose the argument because NASA are a bunch of frauds. All they ever do is lie.
Let's give Tom plenty of time to respond. So
this is all fake.
So yeah, none of that was anything I presented. So I mean, that'd be great counter evidence for something that I didn't present. Straw man, so irrelevant. So
no, but you're invoking NASA.
We know NASA is a reliable source because they sent the International Space Station to space and satellites, and we know those are there. And you don't need pictures. You know why?
We know they're there. Wow.
No.
Is there any evidence of its construction?
Shut up, Otan. So we know they're there because you can get a telescope and you can actually see them yourself.
Oh wow.
No pictures required. Oh,
oh
good.
Cool.
So yeah, they're real. They're we're there. So we're done. We can literally see them. No pictures.
It doesn't mean anything.
Oh, it doesn't mean anything. We can literally see the space station, and it doesn't mean anything. Yep, clearly. What are they doing? They put like a big sheet around the.
I know you can. It's amazing. Excuse me. Can I speak?
Wotan, well, I just want to give him plenty of time because there were a number of points you made, and so to be fair, I do want to give Tom like a minute or two to respond to that minute or two we just gave you.
Yeah, apparently NASA is using their super advanced technology to put a big screen around the Earth and fake the fact that there's a giant space station that's floating around that we can all see from different places all over the world. And apparently all of the different corporations are working together to put this giant screen up to like hide the fact that there aren't actually satellites there, though those are all fake. And the crashes, nope, they're all fake. Apparently they're all in this big conspiracy theory where all the companies are working together to hide the fact that, well, actually, no, all of that's fake. And we don't have that. And we spend millions of dollars for no reason to delude the people to believing that the world is a sphere because people care about that for some reason. No, it's all bullshit. Obviously.
Yeah, I know. You don't care about reality. I know. You just care about like how what you care about. You don't care what the shape of the Earth is. There's really nothing that you can possibly care about.
We can literally see all of these things in space.
Again, you're invoking NASA. Again, I just showed you that they're fake. And I just showed you that they're fake with the ELA signature.
I never said anything about pictures. I never said anything about NASA. I said we can
you keep saying that you can see the Earth. Who else can see the Earth?
We can we can see the space station and the satellites. We know those are up there. We know those are there.
Okay, and the satellites can see us too, no?
Yes, they can.
Okay, so I'm showing you that the images from the satellites are fake.
Start with the first one, so we can see the satellites. We know those are
okay, I can touch on that.
That's my argument. So
okay, can I describe it? Okay, so the ISS is apparently slightly larger than a 747. Do you agree?
I haven't looked at the size. I have no idea.
It's a little bit larger than a 747. I haven't looked into the exact dimensions of a 747 compared to an ISS, but it's roughly even if you say it's 2 times larger, it doesn't matter. It's a little bit larger than a 747. Okay, so you see a 747. How high does a 747 fly? 40,000 feet. How small is a 747 when you look up at it 1,000, 40,000 feet up in the air. It's probably, like, if you were to hold a ruler at arm length, let's say, a cubit, whatever, 2.5, you have a ruler 2.5 feet from your face, and you were to measure the length of the airplane, it would probably be less than a half an inch long. Okay, that's at 40,000 feet. How high is the ISS? What is it? 200 miles.
250 miles.
250 miles. Let's do a comparison to that real quick. Let's do a comparison to that. 250 miles in feet. 1.32 and then 6 zeros after that. It's just ridiculous. Okay, let's see. Feet in a mile.
Okay. Okay, still waiting for the argument.
No, I'm gonna show you. 5280. Okay. 5,280 feet in a mile times 250 is 1,320,000 feet.
Okay.
Divided by 40,000 feet.
Okay.
It's, ooh, look at that. A nice Illuminati number right there. Nice Illuminati number. 33,000. It's 33 times further in the sky than it is of an airplane. Like an airplane, right? You use that as the base, right?
Okay.
That's your baseline, right? And then you multiply that by 33, and that's the distance of the ISS. So it would be 33 times smaller, would it not?
I imagine
Than
so.
a half an inch?
I guess so.
Okay, so let's do a half an inch in decimal form. That's 0.50 divided by 33. It would be
Yes,
it would be
obviously
point.
very small.
It would the length of it would be 0.01515, and then it just goes on 151515.
Okay. Still not following the
So
argument.
you can't even measure it on a ruler. You can't even see it. So how could you see it?
You use a telescope.
No, but you see it
With
with
the
the naked eye. People say that they
No,
can see
no,
it
no,
with
with
the
the
naked eye all the
telescope.
time.
So you don't use a
No,
camera.
people
you use
see
a
it that they
telescope.
see it with the naked eye all the time.
Well, yeah, because you can see
You
the
don't
light
need a
reflecting
telescope.
off it if it's like been far enough in space, but you can't like see that in detail. So I wouldn't use that as an argument. My argument is that you can use it. You can see it with a telescope. So you can actually see it with a
No,
telescope.
if you could see it with the naked eye, you would not. It would be impossible that it's at that distance.
No. Like if you have a giant mirror in space. and it
Point zero
reflects-
one five one five is going to reflect enough light for you to be able to see it.
Wotan, stop. Wotan, stop. So, if you have an object in space that reflects light in all directions, it doesn't matter how big it is, it reflects enough light, you'll be able to see it. So, the size isn't what's important, it's the amount of light it reflects. So, people can see it with its naked eye because.
Well, you also have the atmosphere of
That's,
the Earth,
that's
which
not
is
my
going to
argument.
interfere with the amount of light that you
Wotan,
see
stop,
also.
Wotan. So, my argument is that you can see it with a telescope. So you don't need any pictures to see it. You can look at it through a telescope. And unless NASA has some kind of magic technology to confuse all telescopes in the world and make them see this at the same spot, then we can literally see the space station in space. Anybody can just go buy a telescope and see it.
Gotcha. Thanks so much.
Is that it? That's your argument that it exists? Is because you can see it? Meanwhile,
It
it should be
it
impossible
exists
to
in
see.
space, and we can see it in space. Yes.
Oh, cool. Yeah, cool.
So I mean,
So, any evidence of the Earth being round, or just?
whoa! This is just so. You agree that we can see the International Space Station in space? So there's.
No, I say that it's impossible to see if it's 0.0151515.
Wait, no telescope.
Millimeters wide.
So you think you
It's
can't
ridiculous.
see it with the telescope?
You have
Is
the
that-
Earth's atmosphere in between. You understand that's going to obfuscate the amount of light that you see. Also,
Okay, so you're saying
Okay.
you can't see it with the telescope? Is that your argument?
no, you can't see it. People say that you can see it with the naked eye.
I don't care. That wasn't my argument. So again, my argument is that you can see it with the telescope. True or false? Do you
I don't know. I've
disagree
never
that
looked
you
at
can-
it.
You may want to do that. We can literally see it. So that's kind of a big deal. You may want to try that one.
Kind of a big deal, and it's
Yeah.
also kind of a big deal that there's not a shred of evidence of its
I
construction.
don't. So
That's
again,
also
my
kind of a
argument
big
is
deal.
we can literally see the.
Isn't it
space
kind of a big
station.
deal? How would you wonder how they will construct such a enormous space station flying around the Earth at 17,500 miles an hour? Don't you think that's a little bit ridiculous? Also, that if an object the size of a 16th of an inch wide hits the ISS at going those speeds, if they're going towards each other, it would just completely annihilate the ISS. You understand that? It'll pierce a hole directly
Absolutely.
straight through the ISS.
Absolutely, yes.
Absolutely, and that's never happened ever. And if you also Google the amount of space debris that NASA has tracked, it literally looks like a beehive around the swarm. It looks
Okay.
like a swarm of
Okay.
bees surrounding the Earth, and the
Okay.
ISS just magically dodges all of these space debris without ever getting hit.
Okay, so again, my argument is that we can literally see it there. Like we can look at it.
Yeah, but
So-
everything else it goes against it. That the fact that it should be possible in space.
Okay, but we can
The fact
actually
that you can
see
see it,
there.
it could be faked.
I'm sorry. So they put like a big screen out there to like fake it.
I
Is
don't
that
know
what
how
they're
they do
doing?
it. Don't ask me how they do it. I don't know how they do it. I'm not
Space
NASA.
debris that NASA has tracked.
Okay, so
individually.
NASA
I'm not
has the
claiming how
magic
they do
powers
it.
to fake that there's a gigantic.
I'm not
space station
claiming
out
how
there.
they do it. I'm
But
not. So what? Freaking what's his
Okay.
name? David Copperfield can make the Statue of Liberty disappear.
No, he can't. But
Well, he
So-
can make it seem that way, right?
yes, you can make it seem that way. That's true.
Okay,
You
so?
can just turn the lights off. It's pretty simple. But
Right. Yeah.
again, so we know the space station is there. Now maybe it's not. We can say we can't see all the little details, but we know the shape is there. We know there is something of that size, and we can calculate exactly how big it is by looking at it with the size of the telescope and